good afternoon. This year, 2025, will be our family's 30th year of being involved in the Messianic movement. Many of you all know our family story. Between my father dying in 1992, my mother going to a college reunion in spring 1993, reuniting with a former boyfriend, Mark Huey, getting married in 1994, moving from Greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky to Dallas, which is now Dallas Take One, 1994 to 1998. One of them was from a Wesleyan background. One of them was from a Bible church background. They needed to find an alternative religious option for their new blended family, so we tried out the charismatic movement for a while. And then after a tour to Israel in late 1994, by the fall high holidays, 1995, we were getting involved in Messianic Judaism. Okay, so that's the quick story. Now, along with that, we have had a very interesting journey, and we have frequently described it as a spiritual scavenger hunt. Of course, as we proceeded along that journey, we moved a few more times. We got involved in some of the sub-movements which spun off of Messianic Judaism. We were assigned to full-time ministry in 2002 with the launch of Outreach Israel Ministries. I went to college, I went to seminary. We moved back here to the Dallas-Fort Worth area 12 years ago at the end of 2012, beginning of 2013, and we got reintegrated into the Messianic Jewish community. And it's been an interesting journey even since then, as everyone has had to adjust their thinking, adjust aspects of the Messianic mission, account for new realities, and really evaluate not only the future, but the significant end time purpose for all of this. And, I talk about this all the time. We also know, whether it's life or even ministry, there are different seasons for doing this or doing that. And for certain, because of the situation which took place this week, which we believe as of this morning was resolved, I'm having to contemplate, okay, we have had 2 distinct seasons so far here in the DFW area. The first 6 years moving back and living in North Dallas, and then having a lease on the house not renewed, and then having to figure out where we're going to live. And then the Lord miraculously intervened and gave us a great house, even better house, with more space and a new office. And so when that was taking place, there was also a forced ministry reboot, which came from a situation. And now, 6 years later, there's been another situation. And some of you all have asked me privately about this, so I'm not going to go into detail. But it's not a spiritual thing. It's a business thing. But it gets you to, okay, pull back and, okay, how do we need to regroup? What do we need to be praying about? How does this affect our future? And what do we need to adjust, change, etc.? And is it part of the spiritual scavenger hunt? Because, with all due respect, a lot of people who follow those in ministry, whether it's, local congregational leaders, teachers, preachers, Messianic rabbis, and then people like us who have an independent ministry, who teach, we broadcast, we write, we produce. They just think entirely in terms of, I'm hungry for the word and I want you to feed me. And they just almost exclusively think in that spiritual dynamic, not in terms of the reality on the ground where, there's a small business you have to run. You got bills to pay. And just like living in life, when you own a house or you run a company, unexpected expenses can come up. And so right now, as I go through this audit and reevaluate our social media footprint, and I'm going to have to pull back in some areas because of new realities, which everyone is going to discover on their own sooner or later. So I'm having to wonder, what aspect of the spiritual scavenger hunt is this? And how important is it every day to plug into the Lord and to hear his still quiet voice inform you, I know you're worried about that, but that's okay. This other thing is something you need to take care of. So your continued prayers, your continued encouragement in this transition, which was entirely unplanned. However, we went through this exact same thing 6 years ago at this very season, leading up to Passover. Your continued prayers, encouragement, very much appreciated. And just remember us in a very special way before the King of Kings right now.